wrestling savior, the one JT Dunn. And if you're on YouTube, you want wrestling information, you want to see some stuff, Dre41 YouTube, the exclusive spot right here of the JT Dunn.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dre41, aka Mr. 6K, aka Drake41, and we have a review based on Twitter poll that I put up, and they decided they want me to do a review on Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. So I'm going to get into it. First and foremost, let's talk a little bit about the roster. The roster is pretty cool in here. I would have to say the roster is cool for the time. These are like the top guys in WWE. Pay no mind to that one of those guys. Pay no mind to them. They don't exist. But yeah, this was a good roster. I remember playing this game a lot when I was younger. This was an incredibly bright game. I mean, look at the neons. Look at the neon light around it. It doesn't match SmackDown at all. It does not match the SmackDown look at all. Maybe like the intro video, I guess, but nonetheless, I mean, you got a great roster. Women in the game, not so much. See, okay, so back in the day, they didn't care too much about the women's roster as they do now. So it was a little thin in this game. It was a little thin in this game, and some of the women in the roster weren't even able to be put in positions to win championships, and that's something I'll get into later on in this video. But I mean, look at me just scrolling down, just looking through the roster itself, man. I mean, yeah, they got Rodney, Scotty 2 Hotty, Shane McMahon, Shawn Michaels. That's an unlockable. I'll also get into that as well. Steve Blackman. But yeah, the roster was overall pretty great. Some of the unlockables were pretty trash, and yeah, I don't understand some of the unlockables in here, but the highlighted wrestlers are champions, if you guys didn't know what that meant, and I'll also get into that as well. It's so much I can talk about in this game, so this is going to be a little bit of a long video, but it's fine. So let's get into the entrances in the game. Now, this doesn't have 100% accurate entrances. This is like almost like WCW Nitro, WCW Thunder, where it just shows like a little video, but instead of just showing the video, it also shows the in-game model, you know, going to the ring, which is cool. It's cool, it's fine. I appreciate it for what it is. The next game after this, they finally make full entrances, quotation marks in there on the word full. But this is cool for its time. I mean, this is our first time actually seeing their entrance in the game. Well, no, that's not true. Attitude, WWF Attitude that came out before this, they had full entrances, but it didn't look this good. It really didn't look this good. I wish they just made him walk down the ramp. Now this Taz one is terrible. Look how that towel just clips through his head. Terrible. Just terrible. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, like I said, this is their first attempt at entrances in this franchise. So I really think that this was as good as it could be, you know. So I mean, it is what it is. I think it could have been better. They got the lighting though, like the lighting, the flash bulbs, things like that. But it's like some of the entrances, it's like they're in the ring, but they don't show the ring. Like this one, the Undertaker. You got the motorcycle, but it's like, where is he riding to? He's just riding off into the sunset. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit strange, but you know what? You get to understand it. You get to learn and love it. I mean, you know. But yeah, I really do like the entrances in here. It was a start. It was a lot of colors. You know, you get the intro video, you get their official music. So it was cool. I can't really say that it was great. Scale of 1 to 10, I say it's like a 6. And then it's like they're missing something. Like Albert, I'm pretty sure he had wristbands instead of just elbow pads, and that's it. Al Snow entrance was pretty cool. Got the head with them. Oh, and they also like have different face animations as well. Even though it's like one animation, like angry, yelling, smiling. That's it. It was PlayStation 1, okay? We didn't have the technology that we have now, and even the technology we have now, isn't really doing too great with face animation. So yeah, that's what that is. Um, yeah, good roster, good entrances. I don't know who this guy is. I have not the finest idea who that guy is. Not at all. But yeah, hopefully I don't get a copyright for these entrances. That's the one thing I was always worried about with these, man, because these entrances just show their video, and you know how YouTube is. But let's get to the next one. So season mode for me was very easy. Now, in this season mode, okay, so in any SmackDown game, this is probably the easiest season mode that you can go through to unlock everything you want. Now, right now, what I'm showing you is just a bunch of cutscenes that make no sense at all. Going through season mode is terrible. Even if you sim the matches, you gotta watch this little mini game, which is terrible. Just simulate through everything and get to my match. Why do I care if Bull Buchanan beats Viscera? Who cares? Nobody cares. It's so dumb. It's literally 90% of the time you playing season mode, you're watching screens like this. You're navigating through menus like this. And it's annoying. And that's the one thing in this game that just takes so much time. Cutscenes are just so weird. Like, Kane's talking, but what is he saying? There's no text for it. He's not saying anything, he's just moving. He's just moving around. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are so silly. Some of these cutscenes just aren't good. They're really not good. I can't stand them. They're so bad. And then Michael Cole just is always confused after every interview he gives. But nonetheless. Now, I wanted to show you guys a little bit of how you unlock each wrestler in this game. If you want, you could pause it at specific times if you haven't already. Me, I have a Game Shark, so I don't have to do none of this. Thank goodness. But I remember back in the day that I actually played this game straight through 6 years to unlock everything. Do you know how long that took to unlock everything? My soul hurt after beating this game. Unlocking all the nonsense, unknown A, unknown B, unknown C. And if you don't know what I'm saying, these unknowns, it's literally original wrestlers, created wrestlers with just a bunch of crap on them. And if they're wearing it, you unlock it when you beat them. Literally, that's all it is. And for me, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, first off, like, you unlock one thing per pay-per-view. Like, you should unlock way more, but I guess just with the lack of features that they had in this game, you know, they stretched the unlocks pretty far. And like I said, you simulate a full 6 years, the game will give you everything. But there's certain times where you go through this game and you unlock nothing. There's certain times in this game when you're using your character and you don't have a match forever. And it's so ridiculous. I am telling you, you will sit there playing through this mode trying to unlock these people. And you usually unlock these guys within the first 2 years. Within the first 2 years, you unlock these guys, and then it's just like you're waiting. It's a complete waiting game. And I don't know. I mean, it's cool to get these unlocks, but playing through season mode is not the best. Now, when playing this game, you gotta understand one thing over everything else. The computer will no-sell everything. The computer will no-sell your finisher. They'll no-sell a chair shot. They'll no-sell a weapon shot of any kind. They'll no-sell everything. I am telling you, this is... If you play this game and become an expert at it, I am telling you, your hand-eye reflexes are on 1,000. Point blank period. You will be able to play any other game, no problem. Now, a little bit of features that they did have in this game, which were pretty cool, is when you can hit an opponent and they drop down to their hands and knees. If you run at them, you actually run up and over their back, which is really cool, and they never had that in any other wrestling game afterwards, which saddens me. But nonetheless, I mean, just look at the speed in which this match is going right now. I mean, Undertaker isn't that fast. Road Dogg isn't that fast. Vince McMahon was never that fast. Triple H, if he was that fast, his quads would be egg yolk right now. I mean, come on. And Vince too. Both of their quads are rubbery. I don't know, man. But the gameplay is pretty cool as long as you understand that maybe hitting 2 finishers will officially knock out your opponent. Because the first time you do it, it definitely won't. I mean, it all depends on who you're facing off against. Maybe if they're a job guy or whatnot. But honestly, the gameplay is so fast, and this is definitely not simulation. This and 2K20 are 100 miles apart as far as gameplay goes. This game right here is arcade. Like, you could play this on an arcade machine. This is definitely, and I mean, once again, with wrestling games themselves back in the day, remember this game came out in the early 2000s. I mean, there wasn't really an acquired design on how these wrestling games should be. Some of them were like fighting games. The N64 was more simulation based, I think, than the PlayStation ones. Definitely the Smackdown series, the earlier Smackdown series. Another thing that I did appreciate with this was just the amount of selling, the way that they sold the moves. Now, they don't stay down forever. They don't. They get right back up. But they sold it in so many different ways. Like, if you punch them at a certain time, they do like a corkscrew flip sell, which is amazing. Sometimes they'll do a front flip if you hit them with a move right. Some other times it looks like you knock them out completely, but they literally just roll back up. So this game had some really good selling in it if you knew how to attack your opponent. Now, you see they did a spear and he didn't even sell it. And another thing, you can't break up the moves. You cannot break up any of the moves in this game. Once you get them in, you get them in it, and that's just, it is what it is. And it was good. And another thing was, because this was a import of a Japanese game or a copy of a Japanese game, you got a lot of Japanese moves in here. But yeah, I really love the gameplay in here, just very arcadey if you haven't known that. Now, let's talk about special matches in this game. Now, you're looking at this screen and you're saying, wow, some of these matches I don't see in current wrestling games. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? But nonetheless, we're going to get into some of these, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what extra options we have in this game that we have not seen in a wrestling game in probably the better part of a decade or more. Now, this Hell in a Cell match is not the same Hell in a Cell match that you see on TV. Hell, this Hell in a Cell match right here, you've never seen on actual television because this is not a Hell in a Cell match. This is a steel cage with a top on it. That's basically what it is. I guess the developers really didn't know how to really implement the Hell in a Cell match just yet. I mean, you literally fling yourself through the cage to get out. There are no doors. You just run and hope for the best. You just fly out. And if you could look at this and see what's going on, like, they just get right back up. They get right back up, no problem. You gonna sell something? Nah, I'm not gonna sell anything. You know, like, it was amazing how just arcadey this was. But this Hell in a Cell match was okay for the time. I mean, when we first played it as kids, we were like, this is why is this a steel cage match with a roof? Like, that's what a Hell in a Cell is. But you fight on the outside, but you're still inside the Hell in a Cell. I mean, I don't know. Maybe because it was just PlayStation, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it now. But I mean, as far as accuracy of the matches, yeah, it didn't really get there. It didn't get there. So unfortunately, it was a situation where we just had to play it like this. And just look how Undertaker's just diving. He's just diving out the cage. And then it was like, yeah, come on top. Come on, hurry up. And it was so easy to knock your opponent off. And literally, they would no-sell it. See, boom, and right back up. Right back up, no problem. Now, let's get into the casket match. Casket match was even more ridiculous. He lifts up the casket and swings it like it's a bat. Literally, all the wrestlers are on the juice 100%. I mean, just swinging the casket. It was so unrealistic. Completely unrealistic. You had to Irish whip them into the casket and then stomp them multiple times to keep them down. It would, I mean, they could have thought of a different way to really, design this match. But, I mean, once again, this was based off of a Japanese wrestling game, so to copy it over and then to try to implement something completely new to it probably wasn't the easiest thing for them to do at the time. So we got this, and Grandmaster Sexay and Undertaker, or Sexay, Grandmaster Sexay, I don't know, and Undertaker in a casket match. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we know who actually won this match. Why did I just say that? That was horrible. Subscribe to my channel for me being horrible. Like this video for it being horrible. But yes, this was one of the matches in the game that you played where it was just like, it was completely unrealistic. But, I mean, I guess you enjoyed it. I think Buried Alive was a little bit better, but overall, just to have something like this in the game and being able to swing a casket around and just the fun of just the unrealistic just fight in the ring with that there, just being swung around like you're the tall man in Phantasm is amazing. It really is amazing, and you can't appreciate it unless you play it. Look, watching it is something completely different than playing it. Playing it, you're just picking it up and just destroying them. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about are the hardcore / false count anywhere matches. On the top left hand side of your screen, you will see numbers. I want you just to keep an eye on those numbers because that's how many locations you have in this game to fight. Mind you, this game came out 37 years ago, and we have more interesting and more creative backstage places to fight than in current wrestling games. This game came out in 1936, and we have secret rooms. This game came out in 1902, and you can take a shower and fight your opponent. This is social distancing and cleaning yourself at the same time. You can do your finisher through a table. You can throw plates. And mind you, top left hand side, what does it say? 7 different eight different areas to sit here and fight your opponent. 9. Are you serious? Like, you can't make this up. This came out 106 years ago. And you can do all this. You can fight in so many different places. Come on. Why are we missing this in current wrestling games? Why do we not have this? 12 backstage areas. 12. Like, come on. You cannot be... This is amazing. Now, let's get into another feature that we have in this game, which is belt records. Oh my goodness. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, what's so important about this? We got this in universe mode, in WWE games right now. But yeah, but this one I think is more in depth, as you can get all the champions and how many victories they had. How many victories have they had in defending that championship? That's what you can have in this game that's not in 20. Now, you can sit there and say it shows how long you held it, but I mean, stats like this are so much better, in my opinion, to where it really shows like the value and the prestige of each championship. Now, we'll go into rankings as well, and with this, you can adjust it. Now, this is something that we see in current wrestling games as well on universe mode, so this is not really anything different, but this is something that was done back in the early 2000s. So think about that when you think about how universe has evolved over the years, that this was something that we already had, as you guys can see. And once again, you can change these up if you want to. You can add people to them if you want, just like they have in the other section. Some of these guys you can't even put in championship brackets. Some of them you just can't. All you gotta do is put like re-enter. See, you can't use Tori. Tori? No, not at all. Trish Stratus? Nope. Can't go for a championship. One of the best women wrestlers of all time? Nope. You know what I'm saying? So you can move people around, put them in different, different championship brackets, and have them go for different championships. I mean, you could put Triple H in the Intercontinental. You can, and that just bothers me so much that Trish cannot go in there. I just don't get it. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of boils down to how were they in the company at that time. And at that time, Trish Stratus was a manager for TNA. Literally, that's it. That's all she was. She was just coming out with Test and Albert. You know what I'm saying? Now, this one, oh, great loading screen. We love those. That's the one thing in this game. All the loading screens have wrestlers with their signatures, quote-unquote signatures. Create a manager is pretty simplistic. You just add a manager to you and they just walk behind you during your entrance. Sometimes they help you, sometimes they don't, but we're able to create 10 of those and that's about it. And next is stables. Stables, I mean, basically you already know what that is. That's basically create a team or a tag team, but stable's fine. Stable is fine. They didn't have that many tag teams in this game, which is a little bit strange, man. I could have sworn there was more tag teams in WWE at the time, WWF at the time, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You can't really be too angry with it, but it's kind of, up front. You just create your team, the movie, the moves, and that's kind of it. You know what I'm saying? And they just come out with each other for the entrance. And yeah, really simplistic. Nothing crazy. You got to add Val Venus to write the censor. I forgot about that. New Age Outlaws, the Corporation, the Mean Street Posse, which are unlockable. Once you unlock them, the game automatically creates a stable for them. So that's cool. You know what I'm saying? This one is weird. Create a taunt. Now, in Create a Taunt, I do believe this could be also a winning animation and also an attack. You can create a taunt that is also an attack. It's amazing. Just look at all these weird little animations that you can add to your taunts. I mean, literally, if you have an idea of who you want to make in this game, you kind of could, because you can build that character based off of the taunts. I also believe you can make this into a fighting stance, or this might be a different Smackdown game that I'm thinking of, but this was so cool to have. Like, I remember I do believe there was a drunken style, and I created a drunken master sort of wrestler back in the day, which was pretty cool to have. I mean, just look at it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But I mean, it's something that, you can appreciate as a fan. I mean, just to be able to like fully create a wrestler. How many times have you created a wrestler and you say, damn, they don't have any of his taunts or her taunts. How am I supposed to make them taunt realistically? In this game, you've had so many different ways of creating a taunt for a wrestler or a fighting stance, to where it was just like, if you want to make them, you can make them. You know what I'm saying? It was just so good to have all of these options. I mean, it goes to show, with less technology, you're more creative. I mean, think about how much memory is on the disc to have all of these features. Think about that. How much memory do you think that they had on disc, where there was no DLC, no first day DLC, no, they weren't able to update the game. This is what they came out with. Here you go. They jam-packed the disc with all the fun you can think of. Just fun. But it was arcade fun, but it was fun nonetheless. And I mean, you can make this game as simple as you want, or you can go as in-depth as you want, and this goes to show. Look at all the options. Look at what you're able to do with these taunts, man. I wish this was something that we have. You know what I'm saying? I really wish that was something that we have, but it is what it is. Create a pay-per-view. Very simplistic, nothing too crazy. It's basically just creating a show to simulate through, almost like a universe mode, but just a single show. And I like how they also have the crowd rankings, audience rankings, which I don't get what it means. Like 10.7, like, is it millions? Like 9.4 million people watched it? I don't know. 0.0 people watched it. I don't know. It's weird. Now, welcome to the main event of the evening. This is call mode. And as you guys can see, we have so many options for create a wrestler. We can use the in-game models. So if we wanted to change their attire, we can. We have the options. Now, granted, I mean, this was back in the early 2000s, so take this with a grain of salt when I say as long as the graphics matched, we were good. And I mean, for the most part, it did. It did. Now, this was if you wanted to update a actual wrestler in the game. Okay, so let me just put that out there right now. If you try to think that you're going to create an original wrestler that matches how the actual in-game wrestlers looked in this game, you playing yourself and you wrong. And there's a wall with your name on it that you should run into. I'm just going to put that out there. But this is like the original wrestler here. So many details. So look, just the options and variants and gimmicks. So much stuff you can do. Now, in this video, I wanted to show you guys Raven, or a quote unquote Raven type of call. And yes, you can choose their base hair, the back of the hair, and the front of the hair. And yeah, it kind of matched, kind of didn't, you know, but we did the best we could back in these days, okay? Don't hate on us, okay? Don't hate on the 90s kids who played this and enjoyed it, okay? We enjoyed this game. Did it look great? No. Looking back on it, no, it did not look great, but we were so creative with how we put our calls together to make them look good that we enjoyed this. This was top tier call creating at its very best. It was so, oh my goodness, this was top tier call creating. I'm just gonna put it out there. Let's start that rumor. But yeah, this was a call mode where you can really make whoever you want it. You want it to be goofy, you can be goofy with it. You want it to be serious, you can be serious with it. You wanted to create a wrestler from Japan, you can do it. You wanted to create a wrestler from WCW, you can do it. ECW, you can do it. This game did not stop you from making whoever you wanted to make. And even on the knee pads, they had logos already on it. These people thought ahead. They knew what time it was. Shout outs to them. Shout outs to Ukes. My goodness. But yeah, I mean, call mode was really great. And I really appreciated the call mode. But this was my review of WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. Let me know in the comment section if you liked it, if you didn't, what you like to see. Would you like me to do more reviews? Let me know. Other than that, guys, stay safe. Catch you guys on the next video. Later.